Okay, and do a little stopping point here and talk about my progression. It's been a few days since I painted, probably like almost a week. For this video, it'll only be a few seconds. But last thing that I have yet to paint is the window. I have it masked off. They does come with the kit, and they go on there very nicely. What I do with it. So this is what it looks like. It's got the front, rear, and then the two little side glasses. And it tells you left and right, which is very nice. I wish these came with all kits that required them. But this is what it looks like. And I'll just paint this black. Or actually, I can't paint it black. I have to mask this off. They didn't give me a mask for this. Uh-oh. Okay, so I'll have to figure that one out. I'll make my own mask for the side glass here. And then I will paint all this black. I guess I can just follow these lines here. I'll just mask all that off. And yeah, they didn't give me one for the side. I almost made a very big oopsie, and I would have been mad. But so that needs to be done, and then all my painting will be done. I have the interior put together. It's just flat black and bronze. A couple decals in there. I realized that when I painted this, I should have switched the door panels. So the flat black was on top and it would run all the way across here instead of being in the middle. So if I do this car again, I'll have to switch that. It's just a contrast, oops, but you can tell, see what I mean, how it's supposed to go all the way around. Oh well, it still looks nice, still looks kind of good, still looks good for what it's supposed to be. I painted the speakers gloss black. I painted the inside of the seats right here gloss black, and I painted these things back here. So a little bit of a difference, not really much. It's still very dark in here, so I mean there is a little bit of detail, but you're not really going to see a whole lot unless I painted this like a very light color or white. It does have one decal right here, if my camera wants to focus, and then another one right there, which this one has options for a couple different variations, but I just chose the one with like 6 screens or whatever that is. So that's the interior, and this just goes onto the chassis underneath with 4 pins, locating pins down here, like so. I got the wheels on. I painted the brake drums silver, and then I painted the calipers metallic blue, but I did the metallic blue over black, and I should have did it over silver or just painted a brighter blue. But either way, they're on there. I did paint the tail, the exhaust, and this little area here. This is just dark iron, and then I painted these silver. Painted that silver just so it looks like it's come out the exhaust. And that's really it. There's nothing else to underneath here. All the other pieces that are in here that you put together for the front and rear axle, you don't see them anymore, and I just painted everything black. Even if I did detail them, it would just be a waste. So that's why I built a couple of cars like this before. They're very nice, don't get me wrong, they're very nice, but I'm not gonna sit there and detail everything just for it to be glued away, hinted away permanently, just to never be seen again. I kind of want to see my work that I have been doing. This does have an engine. It's like a 2-3 piece engine. Very simple, very small. I just painted it silver, and then I did up all the belt and the pulleys here, and that's really all I did to it. The top piece for that engine is this right here. And that will go on there like that. I know I'm not lining up right, but it'll be on there like that. But that is the engine block. And then this is the top of it. missing. I can got a little decal to put there for the Nissan logo. And then I have this. I have this. Apparently I should have painted body color. Is all these are supposed to be silver. This is white. I just gotta paint the top black. Other than that, this is just gonna probably stay the way it is. So that is it for the engine bay. I have rear mirror, the side, little mini, I don't know what these are, vents for the hood. Windshield wipers, they're just all flat black. These are gloss black. That's a part I don't use, that's a part I don't use. And that's it for that tree. I did get an extra set of like headlight tail lights pieces. So I mean, I can always use those and work those with something. So I had to sit there and double check my instructions to make sure I was grabbing the right ones. So like I said, I got a couple pairs of headlights, tail lights. Here is my hood and side mirrors with the like brown gold. I should have put more gold in it. It's not as gold flaky as I liked it, but for now it's good. And side mirrors, and then those vents I'll put in here, which should probably be one of the next easy few things that I do. The hood will be done with that. These have inserts. These are for the side doors. These are for the headlights. You can hear my little helper in the background running around. What else? Oh, and these license plates that come with this kit are actually very cool and nice. Here's a mesh for the front grille and the front bumper. So I cut that out, put that up. But these license plates are actually very cool. They're like photo etched license plates. And they're actually very nice. They so what you do for this, they have you put this piece on for the license plate first. There's a couple holes in the back so it pinpoints into the location. And you put this on, which is here. And then you glue this over top of it. And then you put the decal over it. So that's what that is. And this will be on the front. But this is the back of the car, and I got the headlights on there. I just need to put the couple exhausts that come through the hole here. I got the bottom painted black. This is actually looking pretty good. I got the decal for the GTR on there. And that's as far as I got with this. I was gonna put the license plate on next, but it was time to go to work and I haven't been back down here since. So that's the back of the car. The front of the car is this is how it looks so far. So I need to put the mesh on. I gotta paint that logo, get the logo on there. This is painted black. The license plate. There's a couple other pieces for lights I think that need to go here. And then look at the headlights on here. And that's really it for this. So there's locating pins in the front and back for this car. As you've seen, I need to tape off and paint this black. This needs to be gloss black. And then I gotta paint around the window. All this needs to be gloss black, that trim. Same with just doing it with a marker or something because it's so fine and so small. But the door handles need to be painted black. This little vent right here on both sides need to be painted black, gloss black. This little indentation right here on the side is what these are for. A little side marker. That's what that's supposed to go here. Put the decal here. like these pins are going to go into the back right here, so this locates right there, and I won't have to sit there and guess how hard I'm trying to push this in, or if it's in the right spot. It'll just, I know it's not lining up, but it'll just go right in there. And it looks nice already. Seeing as I have that there, if I can hold it still enough while I do this, I have the spoiler here. And that looks very nice. So I like how this car's turned out. It's just going to be brown. And it's be a simple Nissan GTR. If I decide to get another one, I'll obviously paint it a different color. Let's see. When I was taking this out of the booth, when I was finished painting the smoke on it, because I was trying to avoid the camera, and I ended up smacking the back of the car on the booth when I was trying to take it out. But this covers it up, so you won't see any of that. So as long as it covers it up, it's not that bad. I don't have to worry about redoing the back end of the car. You really can't tell. Obviously, you're gonna tell now because I pointed it out, but yeah, no, I smacked the back end of this car just trying to avoid the camera, and I ended up smacking the top of the booth. So that's what that is down here. Other than that, everything worked out pretty smoothly for this car. It is a very simple kit. It really doesn't take that long to put together. There's not many pieces. These are the side skirts here, which I'm gonna have to repaint these black for the bottom of the car. And they're gonna go here. I got the radiator here, the hoses that'll come off the top of the engine, and it's got a couple fans, which it's just gonna stay that way. You're not gonna really see it because it'll be inside underneath here, and it'll never be seen again. So I don't know what this piece is. I don't know if it's supposed to be an antenna or something. I don't know. I gotta go back through the instructions. Until then, it is nothing. But these Aoshima kits are actually very good. They're very nice kits, and they're very easy to put together. It's just taking me longer to do it because, well, I work and I'm tired and I have other things that I want to do. So, but it is a very good kit. These are nice kits. If you haven't bought one of these before, I would recommend it. I mean, it is pretty much just a curbside kit, but it still has a lot of detail and a lot of parts, and it is very nice. You do end up with a very nice model at the end. I did build another Aoshima kit. I don't know if you've seen it, but this little food truck that I built is also an Aoshima kit. Built it a while ago. They had like 6 different variations, or like 4, however many, of food trucks, and they all shared parts, so you can do it different ways. And that's why there's holes everywhere. I didn't patch them. But I seen the spicy food truck, and I was like, I like spicy food. I'm gonna get this one. And it was very nice. So like I said, they have all kinds of different cars, different sizes, different kits, and it is detailed. It's very detailed. I mean, you can see the food in there and everything. But I'm gonna try and get back to working on this car and trying to get it done soon, so I can clear the table for my next model, whichever one that's gonna be. Alrighty, so I'm almost done getting everything painted. All I gotta do is put the car together. Here is the window. I painted, see me paint the inside flat black. And it looks like gloss through the window. The window itself makes it look gloss, so that's why I always just paint the inside of windows. So I put it in there. It does look how it's supposed to. You can't see the top roof or anything, so the little tape marks don't matter. But this is done. Working on the headlights, which these white lines are decals from the kit. I got the bulbs in there. You can kind of tell that they're in there, but I got them in there. I'll probably black wash these little vents that are up here. And other than that, I just got to put everything together and this car will be done. It's getting there. Do have a few extra pieces. This is what the interior and engine looks like so far. Everything lines up. Everything's pretty good. And I'll be back when the car is done. Okay, and here we go. My Nissan GTR is all done. Looks like a chocolate brown. I mixed it with some gold. It's just regular brown mixed with gold, but that looks like milk chocolate. Went together pretty good. I'm happy with how it turned out. I got the little decals on the wheels and on the sides. I got the lights on there. The side fenders don't really match up. Once I push everything in, I kind of have to bend things more, but it works for what it is. It does come with a little stand to hold the hood up, and I'll have a picture with that later. A few things. I did mess up one of the headlights. I got glue on the decal, so I just had to paint it on. You can't really tell. And I lost a piece. Actually, it never came with a kit. I never seen it. There is supposed to be a couple tiny headlights on the front bumper. They're supposed to be right here. They weren't in my box, so they're just, it's just silver. There's no headlights there. It's just, it is what it is. I just put regular Nissan decals on the license plates, and that's really it. There's not really too much I did to this, nothing really special. I mean, that's only the special thing I did was just mix the paint with some gold. I hand painted the light, the brake light on here. That's supposed to be decal. It wasn't working out, so I just hand painted that. Other than that, I hand painted all the black around the trim. Got the decals on the side. It's a very simple curbside car. It does come with an engine, but still, it's still curbside to me. I did build a Skyline and an RX-7 quite a while ago. I'll have a picture of those sitting with this at the end just to show you. The interior, that is, well, I did that in bronze, so that still looks pretty good. You can kind of see a couple red dots in there on the center console and the steering wheel. That's all thing I did in there is put a couple red dots in there just to make the buttons pop out and the GTR logo. Other than that, this thing is pretty much just kind of like a bone stock GTR. It's just a nice everyday cruiser. Well, if you made it this far in the video, I do appreciate you clicking on it. Like, subscribe. I'll be trying to get some more videos out of cars that I do. I put the photos of these on Instagram and TikTok first, so if you want to follow me on there, same name, Chester's Models. Appreciate that. And I will see you on the next project.